Right, we are on Africa Focus, and there's a political storm in Zimbabwe as opposition claims constitutional breakdown. United Zimbabwe Alliance Information Secretary Dr. Tadina Masaya explains why. A very good morning, Dr. Tadina.
Good morning. How are you doing? Thank you for hosting us.
What is happening in Zimbabwe at the moment with this political storm that we are hearing about with opposition?
Well, I think opposition is sounding the bells for the mutilation of the Zimbabwean constitution that is about to happen in the next 70 days. ZANU-PF, the ruling political party, proposed, gazetted on February 16, 2026, Amendment Bill number 3. And Amendment Bill number 3 seeks to change fundamentally the Constitution of Zimbabwe, the Constitution of 2013. Amongst the major changes is one, the extension of the term immediate, effectively changing it from a five-year term to a 7-year term and benefiting the incumbent. The other major changes is the mandate of the military. Instead of the military being subservient to the constitution, there is wording that the bill is proposing to change, which will make the military subservient only to the commander-in-chief. And then there's also the increase of the upper house or the Senate, increasing the number of the senators from 80 to 90. Then there's also the removal of the direct election of the president by the citizens. The bill is proposing that the citizens now have to elect directly members of parliament, which make up about 210 individuals and 80 to 90 senators. Then those individuals then elect the president. So this is what the opposition and a majority of civic groups and citizens of Zimbabwe are rejecting or up in arms, saying we cannot allow that to happen.
Yeah. So just before I come to the issue of opposition and, the politics of, we're hearing of opposition parties having been attacked during a meeting that they were having. Can you tell us more about this? Because we're told that the attack came from the state and that it was politically motivated. Are you able to confirm such reports?
Yes, we have seen that a lot of people that are mobilizing, or not necessarily political parties, but organizations that are forming to defend the constitution against this mutilation, that are, of course, in the most part led by non-political leaders, opposition political leaders, have faced serious attacks. We've seen Professor Maduku, who's spearheading a lot of the legislative strategy in terms of defending the constitution. We've seen his offices being stormed, his meetings being destabilized, and people being brutally beaten. We have seen heavy surveillance at offices of individuals such as the former finance minister, Honorable Tendai Biti, amongst a lot of other individuals. They've tried to also disrupt meetings which amongst the youth and other citizens that are coming together to say we want to discuss this bill, which is absurd because we are in the 90 days of consultation whereby people should be allowed to freely meet, freely interact on issues around the bill. Since the bill was gazetted on the 16th of February, that kickstarted a clock of 19 days, within those 19 days, people are supposed to freely consult. But we can see that the incumbent doesn't want those consultations or those conversations happening between citizens. And in order to prevent that, they have reverted to their well-known tactic. ZANU-PF has reverted to its well-known tactic, using the state apparatus to effect a terror campaign.
Mm. So I just want to understand this. So is it 19 days or 90 days of consultation?
90 days. 90.
90. So what usually happens during this process, and has such stuff erupted during the past consultations?
Well, I would say that ever since the 2013 constitution came into effect, there hasn't been a major change that has required, extensive participation from the citizens. So we have not seen a heavy-handedness in terms of the other amendments that have happened. But this amendment is very major. Like I said, it changes a clause that was put in 2013 as a way to safeguard the democracy of Zimbabwe, the democratic systems in Zimbabwe, the election framework, and the election institution infrastructure. So you have a change that seeks to attack that. So you have a higher response. And since this is the first time with regards to this constitution, we haven't really had history to rely on, say, okay, this is how ZANU-PF has behaved with the past amendments that it wanted to do. But if we're to go prior to 2013 and the coming in of the 2013 constitution itself, yes, ZANU-PF did go on terror campaigns. They did try to minimize the number of citizens that can participate. They did intimidate citizens to give certain views and restricted certain views when we were trying to develop the constitution in 2013. What is supposed to
Yeah.
happen ideally is that citizens in those 90 days are supposed to be able to freely express themselves and what they think about the proposed changes, right? And then those changes are supposed to be captured by parliament, which is the joint houses, and the House of Assembly, and the Senate. Then when they start to deliberate on the bill in Parliament, they take into account what the citizens have said. But we can see that there is a deliberate attempt to make sure that the citizens' voice is not heard, or at least is not heard in a way that is not tailored. ZANU-PF
Mm.
wants to tailor the feedback that is coming from the citizens.
Yeah. So critics often argue that opposition parties exaggerate constitutional violations for political leverage. Do you think this is a fair representation? And I'm not disregarding everything that you've said. I'd want you to just set the record straight on this one.
I think that's an unfounded claim, because if we were to look at the changes that I spoke about,
Mm,
Zimbabwe fought a liberation war. Well, top
mm,
among is the reasons why they went to that liberation war was one man, one vote, and the land question, right? So what this bill is proposing to do is to take away that one man, one vote. The current
mm,
state is that every citizen who is able and is registered can walk into a polling station, then directly give a mandate to someone as president by voting for them. And they want
mm,
to take away that. There's no exaggeration. They have come up with a justification to say they want to go that route so that they can mimic what other political systems are doing in Africa. But Zimbabweans don't have to be forced to copy what other African countries are doing, and they have the choice to choose what they want. They also give a justification that the extension of the term, for instance, which is another major thing, is their justification is that we want to have higher periods of stability. Instead of 5 years, let's try and have 7 years of stability. Who suggests that citizens being allowed to vote for their a government is instability? Only a
mm,
people that do not want to be held accountable. Elections are supposed to be that point where citizens have an opportunity to review their politicians and see whether they should extend their mandate or take them out of office. So if you
mm.
have a government that considers that as instability, then you definitely know that government is not democratic. If anything,
Yeah.
it is seeking to be authoritarian, or seeking to establish itself as a monarch of sorts,
Mm,
and rule indefinitely.
Yeah.
What ZANU-PF should be moving to do is to increase the opportunities for citizens to review their government, maybe even introduce a mid-term election, not to
Mm.
minimize the number of times that citizens interact, review, or review their government. So I
Yeah.
don't. So I think that accusation would be unfounded. ZANU
Mm.
PF has very flimsy reasons for it to want to extend its term. For instance, saying we have projects that are outstanding. ZANU PF has been in power for 45 years. Dr. Emerson Mnangagwa, the current president of Zimbabwe, has also been in significant positions of power for those 45 years. So what is 2 more years going to do? What he failed to do in 45 years is not going to be able to do it in 2 more years. So it's a very weak justification that they are giving as to why they want to extend the term, or why they're changing the mandate of the army.
Yeah. Dr. Tadina, I want us to speak about the legal and political remedies, but also about what the instability in Zimbabwe could mean for the region. But I'd want us to discuss that after the break. So do indulge with us. We'll be right back after this.
Right now, over 150 million children around the world are orphaned, facing hunger, hardship, and uncertainty. With Islamic Relief's Orphan Sponsorship Program, you can provide a child with access to education, nutritious food, essential healthcare, and a safe home. Your sponsorship is not just support, it's hope, security, and a brighter future. Be the reason an orphan child smiles again. Sponsor an orphan today with Islamic Relief.
World-class financial services only at Sapphire Global, your financial partner. If you are looking for Islamic, Sharia, and ethical financial products, look no further. Sapphire Global offers a wide range of financial service offerings from short-term to life and investments. A full-service center with all financial requirements under one brand. Our highly skilled and experienced consultants are ready to help protect your financial future. Contact us on 041 001 0184 or visit our website on www.sapphireglobalfs.com. Sapphire Global is an authorized financial services provider.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness, and every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and freezer card calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
Elite Basmati, available throughout the Middle East, and now for the very first time exclusive to South Africa. Brought to you by Murchison Spice, Pietermaritzburg's most famous specialty store. Elite Basmati, available in aromatic white and golden cellar, is packaged in a world-class facility in India and is filled with wholesome goodness for your well-being. Elite Basmati rice by Murchison Spice. For trade inquiries, contact Mohammed on 033 387 2121. Murchison Spice.
You are listening to Salam Media live from our headquarters in South Africa. This is Salam Media, keeping you company this Ramadan.
Back, we are joined by Dr. Tadina, who is the secretary of the United Zimbabwe Alliance, who's speaking to us about the political storm in Zimbabwe as opposition claims a constitutional breakdown. Now, before we went into an ad break, Dr. Tadini, I wanted us to speak about the legal or political remedies that exist with the current with the current situation. Do you believe that these are still available within the system with everything that you've just mentioned? Do you think that there is still political and legal remedies for this?
When it comes to legal remedies, I would say that there is need to exercise or make sure that you exhaust all avenues. There's definitely a legislative strategy that is being implemented. Like I mentioned, if you have seen, Professor Maduku has gone to court to represent others that are challenging Bill number 3 and correctly referring to it as unconstitutional. And if it is to happen, it has to happen the proper way. It is not the parliament that should decide upon it, but it is the citizens of Zimbabwe that should go to a referendum. And in that referendum, they should decide what they want. They should be given the opportunity to vote yes or to vote no to the bill that is being proposed. We have sections such as section 3 to 8 in the Zimbabwe constitution that have been put there deliberately, that if there is a change that has to be made to the constitution, to the term to the limit on the term in office or the extension of the term in office, the citizens have to be involved. The citizens have to say whether they want that or not just a few individuals in parliament, not just 300 individuals in parliament. It has to go beyond that. So there is that, and there is challenges that are already before the constitutional court, and definitely there is need to amplify those efforts. However, I will say, I think Zimbabwe for the longest time has been talking about institution capture. ZANU-PF has been able to maintain power through its architecture of control, and that architect includes capture of institutions. Amongst the institutions that have been captured, the legislative branch. I'm sure you have heard questions of extension of judges' terms, judges that are being accused of being partisan, and the list is endless. So whether these judges have the capacity or these courts have the capacity to preside over this case fairly, that remains to be seen. But historically, there is a challenge there, and the people of Zimbabwe do not have a trust with their legislative institutions or legal institutions because of that history. Then in terms of the political approach, we are talking about the constitution. The constitution represents the wills, the hopes, and the aspiration of the citizens of Zimbabwe. I think that's the most powerful tool that remains. If the citizens feel that their wishes are being misrepresented or are being altered, then they can present themselves on the ground. They can march, and they are a force that is higher than the Constitutional Court. Remember that the Constitutional Court only acts on behalf of the citizens when the citizens themselves cannot be present. And I think this is something that will call for the citizens to be present. If push comes to shove, the opposition political parties will definitely mobilize their constituencies to be counted on the ground, to be counted foot and hand, walking on the streets of Zimbabwe to say that they are rejecting this. And it would still be within their rights. We have Section 59 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe that permits and allows citizens to express themselves through demonstrations and protests when something as detestable as what is about to happen is threatening them.
So this foot in hand, I like how you say that, this foot in hand demonstration by the people, grassroots levels. It speaks to instability of some sort, and unfortunately, that's what it boils down to. Should the region then be concerned? Neighboring countries like South Africa, should the region be concerned? Should such instability break out? And do you think that the SADC should actually get involved at this point, or are you saying let Zimbabwe deal with the issues right now as Zimbabweans, or is this when the region needs to be called in for a mediation of some sort?
I think definitely if we go down this road and the citizens of Zimbabwe choose to retaliate or to express themselves, there's definitely going to be spillover, and that spillover will affect the neighboring countries. Top amongst those countries is already a country that is already suffering from as a result of some of the challenges that are in Zimbabwe is South Africa. It's either it will reflect as an intensified pressure in terms of migration in South Africa. It is either it will reflect as destabilization of business, since South Africa is one of Zimbabwe's top trade partners. So there's definitely going to be a vibration that the rest of the region would feel. And yes, SADC has to step in, not only for the economic reasons, not only to buffer themselves from a likely pressure that will be coming as a result of the citizens of Zimbabwe fleeing persecution or economic challenges, but because it goes against the tenets of that board, that institution. The institution advocates for increased democratic processes, not reducing the democratic space, right? And I think at this point, they should already be intervening, questioning the incumbent who's a part of SADC, to say, why have you chosen to go this route? And if you're going this route, have you given the citizens ample time and opportunity for them to express themselves? I think that's the major challenge during these 90 days of consultation. The citizens are being deliberately blocked from having that critical conversation and then from expressing themselves. And the reason why they're being blocked is because ZANU-PF knows no one wants this, besides those that harbor within ZANU-PF the dream of a one-party state, besides those that harbor the dream of monarch within ZANU-PF.
Yeah. Constitution, consultation, demonstration, democracy, and the future of Zimbabwe. That was United Zimbabwe Alliance Secretary Dr. Tadina Masaya. And as always, thank you so much for joining us, Doctor.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you very much.
Right, we'll now just be going into a quick ad break and we'll be right back.